सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सत्प्रत्ययाः किन्नु विहाय सन्तम् हृद्येशचिन्तारहितो हृदाख्यः कथं स्मरामस्तममेयमेकम् तस्य स्मृतिस्तत्र दृढैव निष्ठा मृत्युञ्जयं मृत्युभिया श्रितानाम् अहं मतिर्मृत्युमुपैति पूर्वम् अथ स्वभावादमृतेषु तेषु कथं पुनर्मृत्युधियोऽवकाशः सर्वैर्निदानं जगतोऽहमश्च वाच्यः प्रभुः कश्चिदपारशक्तिः चित्रेऽत्र लोक्यं च विलोकिता च पटः प्रकाशोऽप्यभवत् स एकः आरभ्यते जीवजगत्परात्म तत्त्वाभिधानेन मतं समस्तम् इदं त्रयं यावदहं मतिः स्यात् सर्वोत्तमाहं मतिशून्यनिष्ठा सत्यं मृषा वाचिदिदं जडं वा दुःखं सुखं वेति मुधा विवादः अदृष्टलोकानिरहं प्रतीतिः निष्ठा विकल्पा परमाखिलेष्टा स्वरूपबुद्धिर्जगतीश्वरे च स्वरूपधीरात्मनि यावदस्ति अरूप आत्मा यदि कः प्रपश्येत् सा दृष्टिरेका नवधिर्हि पूर्णा यत्पञ्चकोशात्मकमस्ति देहं तदन्तरा किं भुवनं च कास्ति देहं विना पञ्चविधं तदेतत् पश्यन्ति के वा भुवनं भणन्तु शब्दादिरूपं भुवनं समस्तं शब्दादिसत्तेन्द्रियवृत्तिभास्या सत्तेन्द्रियाणां मनसो वशे स्यात् मनोमयं तद्भुवनं वदामः धिया सहोदेति धियास्तमेति लोकस्ततो प्रविभास्य एषः धीलोकजन्मक्षयधाम पूर्णम् सद्वस्तु जन्मक्षयशून्यमेकम् धिया सहोदेति धियास्तमेति लोकस्ततो प्रविभास्य एषः धीलोकजन्मक्षयधाम पूर्णम् सद्वस्तु जन्मक्षयशून्यमेकम्. Two kinds of connection between the I and the Jagat. The first connection, objective. Objective connection is characterized by bhasaka bhasya sambandha, a connection, sambandha, a relationship. And what is the relationship? That is characterized by the I being in the position of bhasaka, the one that illumines, the illuminer, and the what is that? The Jagat is bhasya, that which is illumined, that which is brought to light. So this is the objective relationship between the Jagat and the I. But the I is not by itself. Too bad. Why? Because it is a mixed up I. Mixed up. How is it mixed up? It is mixed up because This I is, along with illumining the whole Jagat, is also illumining a mini Jagat of what? Body, mind, senses, and the ahankara which drives you senseless. All of it is illumining. However, when it illumines the quote unquote outside Jagat, I have more objectivity, at least in, much more than when it illumines the Jagat, so to speak, within, in the form of the body, mind, sense complex, etc., etc. Why? Because the ahankara, which relies on the I for its existence, takes over. It's like a tyrant who locks up the king and then parades and masquerades as the king. The real king is in a dungeon somewhere, and this imposter, and how did the imposter get to this place? The imposter came as a beggar at first. Oh, I have no being, help me. I'm cold, I'm tired. I used to be a king too. I have been driven away from my kingdom. Nashtarajyoham. I am the one for whom my kingdom has been destroyed. And help, 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 help me. And the king took him in, thinking, oh, this could happen to me too. After all, a fellow king. Always we have to beware of a king without a kingdom. Okay, yeah, and because that is troublesome. And so here the king came and then started to sow division among the ministers, among the people, among the subjects. And then what did he do? He took over the kingdom, and now the real king is languishing in a dungeon. Correct? Yeah. And so this is the mix up. So the real Swaraj, the 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 king of the body, mind, sense complex, the Atma, is locked up by what? The Ahankara, the false king, the masquerader that has taken its place. How did this happen? Well, Atma Ajnana. Good thing is we have someone to blame, and always it's the same fall guy, you know yeah, what is the fall guy? The scapegoat? Atma, Atma Ajnanam, self ignorance. We blame. We blame the self ignorance because there is some truth to it. Everything originates from there itself. And so now what to do? So this is what we have to understand is that the objective Jagat, Ishvara Srishti, and but my own drishti towards the Ishvara Srishti. Drishti means my own vision towards the Ishvara Srishti is what makes it my drishti, my srishti. And so you see, there is not just this object, bhasaka bhasya sambandha. A sambandha, a connection of illuminer, illumined is not is there. That is the objective connection between the jiva and the jagat, between the atma and the jagat. Bhasaka, atma is bhasaka, the illuminer, and this is illumined. ठीक है, but this is lost. The illuminer illumined relationship is lost because the ahankara comes and mixes up, throws a few things, throws a few wrenches in the mix and mixes up the I and the not I. Because of the spell of Atma Ajnanam, being under the spell of Atma Ajnanam, it takes the not I to be I, and it doesn't take the I for what it is, Satchidananda Atma. And so the Jagat shines differently now. The Jagat shines as a possible source of security, as a possible source where I can get my approval. The Jagat shines as a possible source of making money. Why do you want money? Again, for security. And then the Jagat shines as a source of validation. The Jagat shines as a source of trying to accomplish this, that, or the other. So, this is the problem. This is in fact the biggest problem, because the objective relationship of this Bhasaka Bhasya Sambandha is overshadowed, eclipsed by the different kind of a connection. And what is this connection? The connection of the wanter, the seeker. And what does the Jagat become? Sought after. So the illumined relationship between the I and the Jagat is a powerful place. It's a fantastically powerful place. I remain in my power, and I understand that I have the power to illumine everything that exists, and me, I am self-illumined. Somehow the jiva trades this glorious power to say, "Oh, I'm a beggar. Give me, give me, give me. I want, I want, I want." What madness! So the illumined relationship is a powerful relationship because there is nothing to want. There are no wants there. There is nothing to desire because everything is me. Whatever I illumine is non-separate from me. So how can I want what I already have? Even Bhagavan is not able to give you what you already have. Like the fellow who prayed to Lord Shiva. What did he say? Oh Lord, please give me a head on my shoulders. And Bhagavan said, look, you know, I know you don't sound like it, but you already have a head over your shoulders. Since you have prayed really hard, I can give you another head. Now you tell me, you want double decker, one head on top of the other? Or you want back to back so you can confuse your friends whether you're going or coming, they don't know. Or you want side by side, like a freak show. Well, what is it that you want? Tell me. But a head over the shoulders, I cannot give. That's what it is. That's exactly what the illuminer does not know. I have everything, and there is nothing I need because everything that is here belongs to me. At the end of the Rudram, we chant what is called Chamaka. Chame chame shancha me mayascha me priyancha me nukamascha me kamascha me. So this chame 300 times. What is this chame? What does this mean? The may is very interesting. The may can mean, here we are not talking of the month of May, okay? This is a Sanskrit word, may. So may is either the alternative form of the fourth case, fourth case, sampradana karaka, fourth case of the word aham. May, nau, naha, alternative forms for mahyam, avabhyam, asmabhyam. So these are alternative forms for the aham shabda, the I, shabda in the fourth case. And the same form, may, is also in the sixth case. So here, shancha me, magascha me, priyancha me, nukamascha me, kamascha me. Am I saying, let there be all these things? And some of the things when you translate, you don't even want. Like the string, like the ring for the buffalo's nose. May it there, I want it, may it be there for me. A spoon, I want it, may it be there for me. Some of the things, when you hear the translation, you say, what is the use of this? I don't want this. So is it the fourth case? I want it, may it be there for me. Or is it the sixth case? It is mine already. Many people think it is the fourth case, but really speaking, it's the sixth case, because the first portion, we have to look at the whole Rudram in context. The first portion is Namaha, Namaha, Vo Namaha. Vo Namaha means Namaha unto you, unto all of you. Namaha, 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 Namaha. Namaha means it's all you. I don't exist. It's all you, 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 you. It's all you. There is no me other than you. And having prayed like that, then will somebody say, please give me a spoon? Nonsense in the latter half. And then after saying Namaha to the entire Jagat, then it is Chame, Chame, Chame. First it is all you, and then it is all me. Because you are me, I am you. It is just wonderful. So that is the power of staying in this illumined relationship between the I and the Jagat. As long as one is there, then there is great power. Why is there power? Why is it a powerful place? As I said, it's a place of no want. Think of the demeanor of somebody who is wanting and asking for something. What will they look like? The shoulders will hunch over. They will look to the left, look to the right. Who is looking at me asking? And in a whisper, they'll say, can you please have this? Can you just help me out this time? Just, I'm in a bad situation. And look at the demeanor of the powerful giver. The giver is like this. Hey, I have the power to give. I have the power. The giver is not feeling small. But yet, somehow, somewhere, at some point in time, when when I did not know any better, I traded this powerful illumined connection for the one of seeker and then sought. Oh, what kind of a seeker? Permanent seeker. How can you be a permanent seeker? Because I'm seeking the impermanent. Because whatever I encounter in the Jagat is impermanent. And what I want happens to be the permanent. And if what I want happens to be the permanent, I'm looking everywhere except at the place where it is. And so, therefore, what? The seeker is the sought. And if I don't know that, then I become an infinite seeker. That is why the expression we have coined jaded, faded, jiva. This is why jaded and faded. like those like those pairs of jeans which the youngsters wear these days. And apparently it's very expensive. They just beat it on a rock. I mean, here, this is how we wash clothes in India anyway. You just go and beat it on a rock. That's how we wash clothes anyway. But still, there must be some kind of a special way. It's called distressed jeans. Why is it called distressed jeans? Because it distresses the parents of the youngsters who are wearing it. They are very distressed. They say, are you coming out dressed like this with me? How can you do that? This jeans has more holes than fabric. How can you wear this? That's why it's called distressed jeans, out of sympathy for the parents. Okay. And so this is, so it's like this. The from a glorious position of being the illuminer of all names and all forms, starting with this body, mind, sense complex. I trade that for this poverty mentality, scarcity mentality. I don't have mentality. I want mentality. Give me, give me, give me mentality. It is mental for sure. you know, One is a mental case after this. And so therefore it is like the genes, one becomes a jaded, faded jiva because life after life, wanting the permanent, seeking the impermanent, wanting the permanent, trying to project permanence on everything that is impermanent, getting disappointed, first life gone, getting depressed, second life gone, getting disillusioned, third life gone. Oh, it's getting worse. Yeah, that's the whole point. It is getting worse. That's the whole point. Getting disenchanted because now some people are wondering what is the fourth life. Okay, here, take. Getting disenchanted, fourth life gone. And this is what it is. So, trading in this Bhasaka Bhasya relationship for this Jiva Srishti of leaning the Ahankara, leaning on the Jagat for its sustenance, for its nourishment, for somebody to say, Wah, wah, kya baat hai, you are wonderful, you are great. Oh, where was I before you came into my life? Somebody should be there to say that. And that's when the Ahankara feels very nice. Oh, wonderful. And so one has traded it for this kind of a thing. One has become a beggar for the Jagat and leans on the Jagat. The Ahankara, after all, is mithya. It forgets that it is Sallina. It is leaning on Sat, not on mithya. But it forgets that and it leans on the Jagat, on the world, on the universe. And the universe, as I already told you, leans on the I, which is mixed up with the ahankara due to Atma Ajnana. The I is mixed up, the self, Satchidananda self, is mixed up with the I notion. I don't have, all these things. That's why it's extremely distressed and it's extremely pained because this here we have an impossible situation known in Sanskrit as anyonya ashraya, a mutual codependency. I lean on you, and then you lean on me. I lean, you lean, I lean, you lean, and then no one is Brahmalina. Brahmalina means leaning on Brahman. The Sanskrit word Lina means Magna, absorbed in Brahman. This is what the problem is. There is a mutual dependency, a very unhealthy, dysfunctional dependency between the Jagat and the Ahankara, along which brings the body mind sense complex along. And that is where the problem rise. All the problems arise there because one forgets I am the seeker, and then who is the sought? Not the neighbor. Myself alone is the sought. The seeker is the sought. This is Vedanta really. Seeker is the sought, and this seeker alone has to be understood, has to be known, must be cognized. Otherwise, what happens? The costs of not knowing the seeker, very, very, very heavy. Life after life of disillusionment and disenchantment. And above all, the danger of becoming an infinite seeker. It is better, says the Kenopanishad, to be a seeker of the infinite than an infinite seeker. Seeker of the infinite means your quest is finite. You seek for some time, you get it because you're on the right track, you get it, and then, like Shvetaketu, like Nachiketa, and all these characters in the Upanishads, you say thank you and get up and go. But the one who is Jagat focused will never get up and go because if they're not finding what they want, they'll never get up and go. It is like cling wrap, It just clings on to anything that it touches. And so this is the problem. This is the main problem is this mix up between the I and the not I. The not I masquerading as the I. And when the not I, the ahankara, the mithya is in charge, what does it do? It seeks the finite and then tries to convert the finite into the infinite. So, therefore, knowing this full well, the Kenopanishad says it is better to seek the infinite than to be an infinite seeker. If you're an infinite seeker, you keep seeking, 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 never finding what you want. Very, very sad tragedy. Ihaiva ched avedit, न चेदिह अवेदीत महती विनष्टिहि. इहैव चेद अवेदीत अथ सत्यमस्ति. If the person knows the truth of oneself as the illuminer of the entire Jagat rather than a beggar in relation to the world, then the life is fulfilled, the life is purposeful. Nachediha avedit, if you don't know this in this life, mahati vinashtihi, it is a huge loss. How big is the loss? It's an infinite loss because it is the loss of the infinite. The loss of the infinite is a really an infinite loss. So, now coming to this verse, let us finish this last one first. A few things I want to just draw your attention to here. Um, I forget which number it is. Shabdadi Rupam Bhuvanam Samastam. Which verse is that? Yeah, verse number 6. So here, Shabdadi Satyendriya Vritti Bhasya, this much we have seen. And even the third line we saw, Satta Indriyanam Manasaha Vashesyat. The last line we have to see, Manomayam Tadbhuvanam Vadamaha. Just to summarize, the whole world is dependent upon the sound, is dependent upon the senses to cognize sound, to cognize objects of sight, etc., etc. And they are all Indriya Vritti Bhasya. The whole Jagat has got the status of Indriya Vritti Bhasyatvam Asti Jagataha. So for the Jagat, it has the status of being illumined by the sense organs. Up till now, this is objective. Next line, it becomes subjective, and you can see how this Indriyanam Satta, the truth of the sense organs, is what? Immediately you can say Atma, yes, but then there is a middleman. These middlemen are cause the most problems in any kind of a connection. So, what is the middleman? Manaha, mind. And what does the mind do? The mind makes a salad of all kinds of things, mixes up everything, and then and then therefore what we say, we declare the world vadamaha. We declare the world to be manomayam jagat. Manomayam jagat means manasaha vikaraha. It's a modification of my own mind. So the whole Jagat is nothing but my own projection. This is why we say that, because the Bhasaka Bhasya relationship gets intermingled with the other relationship, which is what, with the mind acting as an uninvited go between. The mind has inserted itself because that is partly how the setup is. The mind has inserted itself, and then what is the mind doing? It is saying all kinds of things. It is saying, oh, I am, I am in charge of these sense organs. That's one thing it's saying. And then, oh, the sense organs don't do anything. They are just reporters. They are just bhasakas. They just report. The mind says, go after that. There is a wonderful smell of pakodas. Pakodas are some nice fritters. And then there is a wonderful smell of pakodas in the air. And what are you doing? Hands, legs, get up. Go invite yourself for tea. What are you waiting for? It's after all the neighbor. You know them. Go there and just pretend to borrow something, and then you can just stay there. And this is what the mind does. And the mind is not alone, it is along with the ahankara. So the sense organs are controlled, so to speak, by the mind, are in control of the mind. The mind is in control of the ahankara. The ahankara is in control of the raga and dveshas. The raga dveshas is in control of atma ajnanam. I told you we go around and come back here itself. No matter where we go, it goes back to the root cause, which is atma ajnanam. And so therefore, Manomayam Jagat iti vadamaha. Manomayam Jagat means this Jagat is nothing but a mental projection. Now here we have to have a small caveat. This is not some kind of a relativism. This is not some kind of a, what is that called? Some solipsistic thing or some kind of a new age, whatever. I am, what is the word they use? Manifesting. I am manifesting what I want. Oh, really? I thought it was Bhagavan's job. No, no, I am also manifesting whatever I want. They talk like this. And then they say, I am God, but somehow don't, I'm unable to manifest things. So they are, there is some confusion in some of these new age philosophies. And so here, what is this, what is this Manomayam Jagat? Is it a solipsistic, relativistic Jagat? Which is basically, oh, I think it is there. And so therefore, the objective reality at all, it is just what I make of it. It is tempting to go there. It's tempting to say that, this is all in my mind. That is another problem. That is a huge problem. That's a very, very big problem to say the whole Jagat is in my mind. Jagat may be in your mind, but you are out of your mind, okay, to say this. And so this is not correct. Because if you drive on the Indian road and, especially in the rural areas and go over a pothole and say, you see the pothole and you say, it's all in my mind. And you don't slow down, you drive over the pothole. And then what? Then you'll need a chiropractor. You'll need a real chiropractor, not just a chiropractor in the mind. Okay. So there are certain things that are there which are part of the empirical reality. You see it, I see it, and everybody sees it. Trees, we all see. Rocks, we see. Roads, we hopefully see. Traffic and other people occupying the roads, we see. Ocean, we see. Mountains, we see. This is what comprises the Jagat. And all this we see. It's not that only I see mountains and you only see the ocean. No, there is a shared reality. And there are laws based on which we lead our lives. We lead our lives based on universally experienced laws. And, so what is the problem here? The problem is thinking that this Jagat is only in my mind. It's not only in your mind. It is also in your mind. There is a version of the Jagat that has been loaded onto the mind. And that is an order of reality known as Pratibhasika Satta, a subjective reality. Then there is the reality on the other end of the continuum. What is that reality? Paramarthika Satta, the absolute reality of no divisions and nothing at all there is other than yourself. Then, in the middle, there is the objective reality of Ishvara Srishti. And so, if you are interested in the absolute, you first have to firmly plant the ground in the relative, in the relative world, in the world of name and forms, to see them objectively, to see them just as they are. You have to do that. Then only from there you can go to Paramarthika Satta. From Pratibhasika Satta, one's own personal, distorted, dependent, and miserable reality. You cannot go to a place of no divisions and no duality. You cannot go there at all. So, therefore, the empirical world, to be able to live in Ishvara's Srishti, becomes a very important sadhana. This is the sadhana called Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga teaches one how to live in Ishvara's world objectively. But yet, here, Maharshi, the author, says, Manomayam Tadbhuvanam Vadamaha. Tadbhuvanam. Or which bhuvanam? Sattendriyanam manaso vashe syat. That bhuvanam, there is a world that is subjective. And what is the world? The world of ideas, impressions, etc. So, as I said yesterday, there is an existent world and an experienced world. So, the world that you experience is subjectively experienced, but that does not cross out in any way the existent world. The existent world is the objective world where you are just the bhasaka and you just shine the light on various things, including you have the capacity to shine the light on your body mind sense complex. Everything becomes bhasya. This is the empirical world. And then your own private project world of projections. What is that? That is that which comes to life only when the mind is awake, only when the ahankara is awake and alive. And what does it do? It prevents you from experiencing the world as it is. It prevents you from appreciating Ishvara's world. That's why the jiva becomes a critical, self-critical, always the jiva was, but now becomes judgmental and critical of everyone and everything. Bitter, resentful, critical, fearful, tearful. This is how one finds oneself in the absence of the understanding that I am free of all this. These are mere fleeting perceptions. Perceptions are so called because they can be wrong. And so, Manomayam Jagat iti vadamaha, Manomayam Bhuvanam Tad Bhuvanam Manomayam vadamaha. Meaning, the world in which we engage, the world in which we dance, in which we eat, drink, play, work, relate, is the subjectively experienced world. First, it has to be converted into an objectively experienced world before the world is dropped as, as a possibility. And so, this is Manomayam Tad Bhuvanam Vadamaha. And then that is why the Kathopanishad, we were discussing the Ratha Kalpana, there the mind are the reins, and the buddhi has to hold the mind. Just like Lord Krishna is holding the reins and then turning this way and teaching Arjuna, the Ratha Swami, the Jiva. So the buddhi it should be sharp, should be discriminative, should be unswerving, in order for it to be able to extricate the mind from its subjective perceptions and burdens. So the buddhi has to be cultivated. This is again another benefit of karma yoga, where the buddhi is cultivated, a particular kind of buddhi called prasada buddhi. This is also called buddhi yoga. All these are words, phrases found in the Bhagavad Gita. So prasada buddhya svikuru, we learn acceptance. We learn to take everything that comes as prasada, whatever has been given from God. We learn to appreciate. You overturn the critical person to an appreciative, non-demanding person. You work hard to let go of the raga dveshas, to purify the heart, so that you can get to acquainted with the non-demanding, appreciative, contented person that you already are. So this is the karma yoga. But if this doesn't happen, yastu avijnanavan bhavati, amanaska sada ashuchihi, todhvanam paramapnoti. Yasma, so this is what happened. Samsarat patati, punah punah, samsare patati. And so there is chuti. Chuti means there is a fall for the person who is unable to walk on the graceful and gentle path of karma yoga, a path of acceptance, a path of being in the truth, a path of self growth, a path of emotional, what is that called? Emotional maturity. So, if the person is unable to lend themselves to this growth, to be available for this growth, you know what happens? There is a there is a there is a fall. What kind of a fall? Just like the horses with a bad rider, with a bad driver, lose reins. One horse goes this way, one horse goes that way, and then the chariot lands in a ditch. That's what happens. Derailed from the quest for this life, and then we have to wait to get a human life. Well, God only knows when that will happen. There are all kinds of life forms waiting in abeyance, and including dog, cat, etc., including dogs and cats who grow up in ashrams. That's another very interesting karma. And when Pujya Swamiji used to teach for a few years, there was he used to sit on a dais, and then there was just a curtain on this, so you could keep some things underneath and whatnot. And so there was a cat in the ashram and a dog, and they hated each other. They hated each other completely. In fact, if the dog smelt the cat, even before it looked at it, it would make this gargling sound and start to growl. And the cat would also meow. It would go wherever it encountered the dog. They were fighting in front of the dining hall. They were fighting in front of the student quarters. They didn't even spare the Swami quarters. They fought every single place they could fight. They fought. When Pujya Swamiji used to teach, they would just go, both of them would go underneath the dais, and no fighting at all. For a whole hour, they would sit there and listen. Whether they listened or not or slept, we don't know, because it was all covered, and underneath they would just go. And And then, when the first day it happened, it was too late, because they came, after Pujya Swamiji took his seat. Then they would come. One would come from this door, another would come from that door, and they would just go underneath the same place. And they would be fighting all over the 100 acres of the ashram. And here is one place where they would sit still for the whole hour. And even if they had to leave early, they would just quietly leave without any fuss. And so the students saw this. It happened on the second day, and it was happening on the third day. And so one of the brahmacharis caught hold of two legs of the dog and tried to drag it out. And it held on to something there, and it wasn't coming out. And Swamiji saw this and smiled. And he said, Let them be. They might have been brahmacharis who ran away, who couldn't get along in another life, and who ran away before finishing their studies. And then, due to some karma, they are in the cat and dog, upadhi, in the cat and dog life. Let them listen, it's okay. This is, this is what so we have to wait for another life. If this mind cannot be managed, if the anger because of the raga dveshas cannot be managed, if self growth cannot be undertaken, the life goes to waste. And so, therefore, this manomayam jagat we drop in favor of what? you know, Ishvara Brahmamayam Jagat. We convert Manomayam Jagat to Brahmamayam Jagat. In fact, there is a nice song. Sarvam Brahmamayam Re Re. Sarvam Brahmamayam. Everything that is here is Brahman itself. So Manomayam Jagat has to be converted to what? Brahmamayam Jagat. This is possible only through prayer, Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga itself is a form of prayer. And so, and he will himself, in the next coming verses, he will himself talk about sadhanas. So we will wait for that to be revealed. Okay. So the next verse. Dhiya sahodeti dhiya astameti lokah tatah dhi prabhibhasyah eshah. So this world is very interesting. Lokah means world. What does this world do? This world, what kind of world? This Manomayam Jagat, not Ishvara's Jagat. That is the difference. Now, the difference between Ishvara's Jagat and Manomayam Jagat is going to be pointed out by talking about the Manomaya Jagat. The mental Jagat, Udeti, rises, Astameti, sets. When does it rise? Dhiyasaha, when the mind wakes up. When the ahankara stretches, that was a nice sleep. And when the buddhi says, where is my coffee? That is when the mental world comes up. The mental world rises with you. And then what? Makes you a mental case, a basket case. That's what it does. And then goes to sleep with you. So which Jagat is this? Are we talking about the existent Jagat? Or are we talking about the engaged or the experienced Jagat? We are talking about the engaged Jagat. That is what is called Manomayam Jagat. So this Manomaya Jagat yawns when you yawn, goes to sleep along with you. Not a single criticism. No criticism of others. No self-criticism. Aha, that is why one loves sleep. That is why it is so delicious. No difference in the sleep either. The sleep of a king, on some kind of soft mattress where you put the finger and then it retains the fingerprint. What is that called? Memory foam. Memory foam. We don't have memory, but the mattress has memory. Okay, better memory. And then so the a rich man or woman, a king or a queen like person, a very rich person, affluent person who is sleeping on the memory mattress, forgetting the whole world, sleeps on the memory mattress. What an irony, what an interesting thing. And then and the person without anything in the world, a person given to begging on the bus station in India, sleeps on the bench, hard, unforgiving, full of mosquitoes. But once they both are asleep, there is no difference in the quality of their sleep at all. Both of them are fast asleep. And then what does that mean? The Manomayam Jagat has collapsed completely, has been dismantled. The rich person's manomayam jagat. Oh my God, who is going to steal from me? Oh my God, everybody is taking advantage of my riches. Oh my God, I have to invest better. Oh my God, what about inflation? Now they say there is going to be a recession. Oh my God, OMG, OMG. That is the manomaya jagat of the rich person, the CEOs, and all these people who don't know what to do with their money. That's why they are going to space. Yeah, they think that okay, we can just go to space and come back. And then, then the begging person sleep. The begging person sleep was also equally fraught. It's equally wonderful, but the begging person's complaints are also equally difficult. Hungry today, hungry yesterday, hungry tomorrow. Fie upon all the rich people in the world. What is wrong with all of them? Each one is scolding the other and blaming the other. The trouble with the haves and have nots, this is the problem. And they eat so much and they waste so much food, and their children also, they don't teach properly. They don't know how to give. And whereas the rich person may be thinking, I'm going to build a few new offices, but first I have to get rid of all these slums and these tenements, and all these illegal things have come up. And all these people who pretend to be poor, why can't they just, go somewhere else? Why do they have to stay in my city? All these complaints resolved. Dhiya saha. Dhiya saha means along with the buddhi, the faculty that is able to complain. Along with the complaining faculty, the whole world just becomes a bud, like the lotus. The lotus, when the sun, not the lily, but the lotus, when the sun rises, the lotus blooms. And as the sun sets, it goes like this. And then finally it is like this. Then again the next day. Same thing with your mental world, with your manomayam jagat. Dhiya saha udeti. Rises with you, demands a cup of coffee with you. and and complains with you, in fact teaches you how to complain. And then what? And then when you are tired of complaining, it sets with you. It sets with you. No more jagat, no more complaint, no more credit card statements which you have to pay, no more fears, no more tears. Your mental jagat has resolved. How beautiful this is. Dhiya saha udeti. Like the lotus blossoming in the presence of the sun, the mental world comes to light with you waking up. Dhiya saha astameti. The mental world resolves when you are tired and go to sleep. Lokah tatah dhi prabhibhasyah eshah. This is a key to know this, to know what we just read in the first line, to know that this mental world rises and falls with with the I notion, with the minus, the I-ness, the ahankara, the buddhi, manaha, chittam. These four are the ones that are responsible for this personal world to rise and to set. When the mind is awake, when the buddhi is awake, when the ahankara is awake, when the chittam, the feeling, the emotions are awake, then the personal world of complaints and all kinds of problems rises. And then it sets. So what does he conclude in the second line? Lokaha tataha. Therefore the world is what? Dhi pravibhasyaha. Eshaha lokaha tataha. Dhi pravibhasyaha. Is there a small space where the rising, when you rise, and the mental world rises with you, just before the mental world rises with you, can you rise without the mental world, or if not without the mental world, with the mental world, but be a sakshi, be a witness to the rising of the mental world rather than a participant? This is the question. Is there a small space where you can quickly get into the place of the observer? Let's say you awaken, and then, just like yesterday, and just like the day before, somebody is making a lot of noise. Or if you're in India, the dogs are trying to settle the accounts. Who is the alpha street dog today itself? At 3:30 a.m., we have to settle it. This is what they do. So, so then what to do here? How to, so before you see, what happens is that immediately anger and outrage comes. How dare somebody wake me up? How dare fie upon those dogs? How did they do this? Why do they make so much noise? But between you waking up and those impressions, there is that place. And that place is what? That place is the place which is simply shining the light on your bad mood, not the identification with the bad mood. Just before this identification takes place, there is a small opening. The door is ajar. But a jar is not a door. Okay, yeah, it's sounds funny to say a door is a jar. so so anyhow, so then a small doorway, a small opening is there, a little sliver, which is why don't get up out of bed suddenly, immediately. We have a whole ritual out of getting out of bed. We have a whole way of waking up. You look at your hands, you rub your hands together, you touch your eyes. Even if you don't want to do the rituals, you just lie there in the place of the Sakshi. First, the object of the Sakshita is your own sleep. First, you say, "Oh, what a nice sleep I had." Already you are Sakshi. And you alone are there in sleep. And when you wake up, also you alone are there. Before all these cantankerous buddhi, manaha, and what else? Ahankara, chittam, they all wake up. So you can maintain that objectivity and increase its duration little by little. This becomes an important sadhana. If people are interested in finding out how to do this, we can do one such meditation, in one of these days. We can do that. So this is, so lokah tataha. So then the correct conclusion is what? Dhi pravibhasyah eshah. Now, when I am able to be in the seat of the witness, I am again restored to my glory of the observer. Who is the observer? The illuminer of all names and forms. And that, so every night or each time you go to sleep, what happens? You are in that wonderful place, a place of inner space. As soon as you wake up, before all the, it's like a parents of small children. So they love to wake up a little bit before the children so they can have some time before they all demand and say, I want this, I want this. Now where is my toy? This one is hitting me, that one is beating me. I want to beat up this one. I have a tummy ache. I don't want to go to school. Before all this, Imagine having a quiet cup of tea, nothing else in between at all. And that is exactly, we need to relearn how to wake up. And because wake up we must, both figuratively and then what else? Literally also. Can't be sleeping anymore. We have to wake up and we have to reclaim. And what is needing to be done is to reclaim that rightful place of glory, of being the illuminer, the non wanting illuminer of all objects, names, and forms. The subject that just illumines. By lending its presence, by lending its glorious light of awareness and its own presence, sentient, existent presence. Satchidananda. The other two lines we'll see on Monday. And I have a small announcement. We are doing a Navagraha Homa, which is going to be on next Thursday after this class. So you can join, and I will just share the flyer here. It will so you can all join. It's the same classroom. So, and what it is for there are many planetary transitions in the month of April. So this is for enhancing the effects of the wonderful transitions, and then making the difficult transitions little more bearable through prayer. So it's a fire ritual, and if you're in the Eugene area, you can attend in person, and if you are anywhere else, you can attend online. And the if you open the chat pod, the flyer should have come. Have you received it? Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. These two questions, managing anger will look like recognizing the anger. Yeah, exactly. I'll talk more about that. Yeah, you are correct. And then what is with Turiya? Turiya is knowing that you are the lighter upper of everything. That is Turiya. Yeah. You are not the waker, you're not the sleeper, you're not the dreamer. And then without you, there is no dreamer, sleeper, waker. That is Turiya. Okay. Okay. All the best. Take care. Oh,
Thank you.